my channel. So for those who don't know me, my name is Tiara and thank you for watching. Here we just discuss films, TV, nerd about that kind of stuff, and dabble in makeup from here and there. So if you like that type of stuff, then keep on watching. So guys, you know I had to come back and react to WandaVision. Now, yeah, so for this one I am gonna react to the final episode, the finale. I'm gonna give a brief overview of what has happened so far and the 8 episodes so far that we've gotten from WandaVision. Sorry guys, I had to interject into this video because YouTube apparently keeps flagging my video. I wanted to give you guys a commentary video, but this is just gonna be a regular review. I'm gonna try and intertwine both the original commentary that I had and the makeup and movies as well. So yeah, let's just get into it. WandaVision is essentially the Scarlet Witch. Marvel Universe now is recognizing Wanda as a Scarlet Witch, and throughout this entire series she has created this entire world to her own liking and is shaped by her childhood of the series that she grew up with. So she grew up watching the Dick Van Dyke Show. You also had the Brady Bunch type of aesthetic. Also going into some early like Disney type of shows like Lizzie McGuire, when it's like directly the main characters breaking that fourth wall and talking to us, the audience. Well, episode 7 was actually called Breaking the Fourth Wall, which was similar to like The Office or anything in that nature. And to dive deep into it, because the first 3 episodes were very slow. It was a real slow burn, but it does definitely pick up in the 4th episode, and then we see like Wanda having her twins, and then the the X-Men universe, Pietro, played by Evan Peters, comes into this universe of WandaVision and appears to be like her brother after she kicked Monica Rambeau out of her, you know, happy bubble. It was this one neighbor that wasn't accounted for out of all the people that Wanda took over in this town. Well, she was casted as a nosy neighbor, but I think her name is Agnes. And Agnes is what we now know from episode 8 is a witch. And she was drawn to this town because of the power that was, or the magic that was being wielded. And because she's also a very powerful witch, she was trying to understand how Wanda took over this town and was able to portray her own imagination, because Wanda's powers are based off of emotion. Say episode 8 hands down is my favorite. I think it had so much emotion into it. Anyway, so the 8th episode was really important because we see how Vision isn't able to, well, Vision from outside of Wanda's perfect town is actually dead, and it had been this like propaganda spilled on her about how she broke into this SHIELD facility, which SHIELD is, I guess, no, well, they're called SWORD. So SWORD is the new SHIELD, and how she broke into oh my god. So she broke into SWORD, and the director of SWORD said that Wanda went into this facility to capture Vision or get his body and resurrect him, which we're getting into that later because I don't even know who this messy man is, because he's just been irritating me the entire season. But he said that Wanda, he basically put in her mind the idea of resurrecting Vision, and she didn't even think that she had that power to do so. But initially we find out that Vision is still dead. The physical Vision, who we know from Infinity War, is dead, and or dead for, you know, a cyborg. And so now she created her own Vision, and if he tries to leave the Wandaverse, he's dead. Oh, and I also wanted to say how cute her sons were, because she had twins, and one of them has her brother's powers, and then one was really connected to her. So I don't even know, I believe the children are real because everything she touched essentially did become real, but I don't know if it's still just an illusion. Monica Rambeau, hands down, is becoming my favorite character. I don't know if they're gonna lead the way for her becoming the, because she's supposed to become the new Captain Marvel, but in this one she is developing her powers because she's able to break back into Wandaverse, and now her eyes are glowing blue. So I don't know if that's now leading to her becoming essentially the Marvel character. I'm gonna watch this last scene just because it's so heartbreaking. We see that she's pulling up, or now the town that she took over is where her and Vision were going to settle down. And I mean, Wanda has had a hard life. Let's just say that. She essentially has lost everybody, and losing Vision was her breaking point. So she lost her parents on like a bomb watching the Dick Van Dyke Show. Like, how depressing is that? Losing her brother, him getting shot, trying to save that stupid little boy, because I remember I got so mad at that scene because he ran out. Having to lose Vision twice because she killed him once, and then we all know Thanos snaps his finger, snapped that gem right out of his head. So it's been hard for her. It's been hard. So let's just watch this and get on to episode 9 because I'm excited. So here, I don't know if this was just because she essentially rebuilt Vision, right? So like, oh, you know what I'm thinking? Is it because she destroyed the stone at first, so it like gave her more power in the Infinity War? I mean, can you blame her? Like, sorry, I had to put my glasses on because don't let your eyes burn out, guys. Episode 9. We finally got here for the finale of WandaVision, and it did not let me down. Let me tell you that. So, episode 9 starts off with a big bang. Agnes is holding Wanda's twins hostage, and she's actually holding them with like purple leashes, and is telling Wanda that she wants her powers, and for Wanda to willingly give up her powers to Agnes. There's a funny bit because Wanda ends up actually throwing a car at Agnes, and this is paying homage to Civil War because we know that scene where she did try to throw all those cars. And then we have Agnes pretending to be dead. Obviously she wasn't, but her shoes are left under the car, and it's paying a bit of homage to the Wizard of Oz, of how the house falls on like the Wicked Witch, which is funny because also in like the town area of Westview, it was playing the Wizard of Oz on the theater. So I thought that was, I don't know, it's a bit of an Easter egg, I guess. So White Vision appears, and we see White Vision at the end of episode 8. Oh, you don't have no color. Oh, he looks scary. I do not like that. And imagine that's Ultron now. I hope Ultron comes back because I'm tired of them. He was a great villain. Post-credit scene, and he appears, and Wanda is jarred. Like, she's a bit shocked because she wasn't expecting the physical Vision to be alive. He gonna fight her? And it's not necessarily the Vision from, I guess, he doesn't have his memories, so he's really just hardware at this point. And thinking that he's gonna approach Wanda and embrace her, and you know, she's a bit timid at first, but he looks like he's gonna embrace her, and then all of a sudden tries to crush her head, and she's just screaming, and then all of a sudden Red Vision comes in, swoops in, and attacks him to save Wanda. which is weird because I would say that like White Vision, even though I know we're gonna see him more in the Marvel universe, he looked horrifying. And meanwhile, during this entire event, you see Quicksilver, or the fake Pietro. He's out there keeping Monica Rambeau hostage, and she's trying to scream for Wanda's help. Wanda's not paying attention to her, obviously. And then it's revealed that Pietro is actually a resident from Westview.
Ralph Boner?
And this was such a letdown to me, because it's just saying like, I was expecting for them to finally have a new entry of the X-Men universe merging into Avengers, and then they didn't even do that. Because I think if that's a nice addition to add into the multiverse that is going to be happening with Spider-Man, and also with the new Doctor Strange film. So I just wish that they interjected those, and since he's now just a resident, it doesn't make sense for like that Quicksilver to now be a part of the multiverse. While the Visions are like occupied with each other, Wanda goes into the Westview town with Agnes, and they're both fighting. And then now the townspeople have approached Wanda, and Agnes is telling Wanda that you need to realize what you're doing, and is apparently trying to show her that she's causing all the people in the town a lot of pain. And Wanda doesn't believe this, because obviously she's given these people better jobs and essentially a better life in her eyes. So Agnes awakens one of the townspeople, and it's the woman, I think, from the second episode. And so she's like just crying to Wanda and telling her to at least let her daughter be free, because she's saying that her daughter is always trapped in her room and she just wants to hold her. So Wanda doesn't necessarily realize that she's causing these people pain.
I've kept you safe in here. You feel at peace. We feel your pain.
Agnes just starts releasing everybody from Wanda's brainwashing, and they just start to crowd her and then overwhelm her, which I knew was going to be a very bad idea. She screams out frustration and ends up accidentally choking everybody using like her hex powers. So then she realizes that's not a really great idea and tries to recant that, wants to like lift the barrier up from Westview. Now when she lifts this barrier up, remember that Vision and the Red Vision and her children were essentially created in this world that she built. So if that barrier is up, they're gonna be destroyed and they're gonna disappear. Or I don't know if they necessarily die, but they won't be in the same plane as her. So she sees this happening when Vision and her children start to almost like break apart. Like it's very, it was almost like a glitch in a TV, because it's like she made the world in like a TV type of aesthetic. So they started glitching a lot, and like their particles started like separating. She ends up closing the portal, realizing this. But the more she uses her power, Agnes is able to drain her of her power, because Agnes is like rogue for some reason. Like she's able to absorb all of Wanda's powers every time she uses it, and that's how she killed her Covenant actually, because they all tried to kill her, saying that, you know, she wasn't necessarily using her powers for good, or she was using dark magic. And then when they tried to use their powers to kill her, she ended up draining her entire Covenant. The more that Wanda uses her powers and gets drained, she starts to like her body was like turning dark. Like it almost looked like she was decaying, if that makes sense. Agnes keeps telling Wanda more about the Scarlet Witch. Calls her out, saying that she's using chaos magic and that she's known as the Scarlet Witch, but she keeps telling Wanda exactly who she is all of a sudden. And I think she's the reason why Wanda became, well, she is the reason why Wanda became the Scarlet Witch, because she just kept telling her more and more about the history of that myth.
Did you know there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the Darkhold? That's the Book of the Damned. It's your destiny to destroy the world.
And then also brings about the book, which is called The Darkhold, that tells the story of the myth of the Scarlet Witch. So now she's given all of the information that Wanda needs to fully understand her power more. So if you didn't want her to do that, why did you tell her everything she needed to do to become that? It just didn't make sense to me. Vision and White Vision end up fighting again, and they stop fighting to have a history lesson. And so Red Vision is explaining to White Vision what he is now, and they were describing some ship. He was saying it was a ship that had rotting wood, and they kept replacing the rotting wood with new wood, and that's just essentially what Vision, the White Vision is. Red Vision gives him his old memories. The White Vision realizes, oh, I am Vision, and it flies away. And I just know that's going to give Paul Bettany more of a recurring role in the Marvel Universe, so now he doesn't have, like, he's not always going to be the same character. And it's different to see how, like, a computer can have so many different personalities, because essentially that's what Vision is. Back in the town, so Wanda tries to create an illusion, more so like how she did in Avengers Age of Ultron when she hypnotized all of the Avengers. She tries to do that to Agnes, and she brings her back to the time when she killed her entire covenant. And this backfires because the illusion starts turning on Wanda, and they all start calling her the Scarlet Witch and saying it's you. Once she's backed up in a corner, we see her start forming a glowing red crown on her head, and this is paying homage to the comic book outfit. So now she's starting to really come into her true form and attacks Agnes, and they end up flying in the sky. Her and Agnes are really going at it. At this point, Wanda is saying, I don't want my power, so you can have it. And she starts throwing all of these lightning bolts towards Agnes. Against her, she's gonna keep just absorbing you. Oh. Oh! Well, not lightning bolts. They're more so like just these red, I guess, fireball, like hex balls. She's just throwing her power everywhere. And Agnes is just absorbing it left and right. Wanda being drained, like she's fully like decaying, like she's turning into a skull. And it's really intense. And even like when they're in the sky, it's like a thunderstorm. The clouds are red. And it's just full of like a really sinister type of feel. But I will say, I did like how Agnes' costume, going back to costumes, I really did like how Agnes looked, because she even had like the black tips on her fingers that really looked witch-like. Meanwhile, while they're fighting, that stupid sword director, I mean, if anybody irritated me the most, is that sword director. He comes out and tries to shoot the twins. Like, he's like, I'm just like, do you not see their mom? Like, you're literally trying to continue doing stuff above your pay grade, which makes no sense. He tries to shoot them. That's when Monica Rambeau runs in and jumps in front of the boys. Now her new form power just came out of nowhere, and the bullets go right through her. And she's absorbing the energy from the bullets, really turning into Spectrum. I'm really confused at her power, which I think they really are going to have to explain to us much more about it, because in one sense, in the beginning, it looked like she was able to see magic, or like, well, I guess magic is a different form of energy, so maybe that's what she's saying. But she was able to see magic, and then now she's able to absorb bullets and it go through her. So I don't really understand the whole entirety of her powers, but it's really interesting to dissect. Back to the grand battle with Agnes and Wanda. Wanda at this point is fully drained. She's looking like a skull. And after Agnes says this whole entire speech, and when she tries to use her powers, they're not working. Like, nothing happens. And then we see, once the clouds kind of disappear, or Wanda moves out the way, I don't know which one happens, but a rune appears. It's like a gigantic rune, and there's several of them around the barriers of Westview. And Agnes starts to get like scared, because she's like, she didn't expect Wanda to pick up on those type of tricks so fast. You know, a witch can't use her magic if one witch casted runes around that entire place So that witch that casted the runes can only use her powers. She's like, you lack knowledge. Well, here's my knowledge. And that's what Wanda did, because she's a quick learner. It turns into like a whole Phoenix mode. Like, it was so many similarities I saw to Dark Phoenix, because Wanda transforms and just like gets back all her powers, and she just absorbing all of her power back from Agnes and just anywhere else she was having her power being stolen from. Oh, this looks like Phoenix. Ooh. Oh, she's getting back all the power she lost. This looks just like Phoenix. Very similar. Here for the outfit!
Oh God. You don't know what you've done.
It looked very powerful. It reminded me so much of Phoenix Force. And also I think because in Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey, her powers are also about to get absorbed. Now the kicker to me is that Wanda doesn't kill Agnes, of course, because she's an anti-hero. She puts Agnes in prison, puts the illusion back on Agnes to trap her that she's going to be playing the role of the nosy neighbor for as long as, you know, the Scarlet Witch wants her to be. So she's going to be staying in Westview and is going to assume the same role that she was portraying all the time in Westview. And Agnes says something interesting. She was like, you don't know what you've unleashed. So I think they were dropping a lot of hints in this episode, because for one, I know in the comics that Wanda uses bits of, I think, Mephisto's soul to animate her children or to give her children life. I'm assuming that when it comes to Doctor Strange, that Mephisto may make an appearance. It just seems like there's it's just a lot of underlying layers that come with that, because I know Mephisto is a part of Scarlet Witch's story. Ending scenes, I guess, started to just be really emotional. I mean, episode 8 ended in a lot of emotion, and episode 9 just continued that same wave. It did not change. Now the barrier is completely becoming lifted for Wanda, or for Westview, and you see that Wanda and Vision and the boys go back to their house, and so Wanda and Vision are tucking their children in, saying goodnight, and then she says, thank you for choosing me to be your mom. I'm not gonna do it. Because I'm really about to cry. This is sad. Her and Vision just see like the red, I would just say like the red force field just changing the entire land. And she goes downstairs, and her and Vision are just waiting for this wave to hit. Vision asks her, what am I? Who am I? And she says, your wires, your blood, your bones of, you know, of my making, of my creation, and like, you're my love, you're my pain. That Vision actually sheds a tear. So he is essentially real. Then they say something like, well, we always say goodbye, so we'll say hello again. And at this point, I'm really tired of seeing Vision die, just because it's way more to Vision than him always running after Wanda. And I really hope that they don't keep this pattern going, that he always has to chase Wanda and bring her back into like humanity mode or anything like that, because it's so much more to his character than that. Then everything unravels, and she puts her hood back on, and she's back in the same outfits from when she first ran up to the plot of where her and Vision were gonna start their new lives. And what's funny is that when she goes back to town, everybody is looking at her like they hate her, because they just like, you kept us here trapped and you were just living your fantasy. But the only person that doesn't hate her is Monica, because Monica empathized with her and said, hey, I know that if I had your powers, I would do the same. And in that sense, she meant her mother. So I think I like their friendship. I really hope that they continue their friendship in the upcoming films that happen. But I do like Monica, because Monica was the only one advocating for Wanda because she understood, she empathized with her pain. And yeah, so then Wanda flies off and she's able to create a new hoodie with her outfit, and I just like that her magic always just advances every chance she gets, actually. And that's really it for episode 9. But there are not one, but 2 post-credit scenes. And the first scene shows Monica interacting with a scroll.
I was sent by an old friend of your mother's.
What?
He heard you've been grounded. We'd like to meet with you. Where?
Because I'm Captain Marvel. I'm thinking that this is the leader of the Skrulls from Captain Marvel, or it would be Fury, because Fury is also, I believe, in space. And then the final scene, the second post-credit scene, is Wanda. And Wanda is in this cabin in the mountains, and I think she's back in Sokovia, but I'm not too sure. That's one thing about Wanda. She stays in some comfy clothes. I believe this mountain was in the comics, and she was able to draw on her power from there. You have her making tea, and then the camera pans off to the right, and in a back room is also Wanda. So she's now astral projecting herself to do magic while she's like living her real life. So what? Which was very Doctor Strange. Like, what we see her researching or studying is the Darkhold book. Before the scene cuts, a voice that's coming in, and it's her son Tommy, and he's saying, "Mom, help." So I don't know if maybe the children are in another plane, and because I thought they were dead, but essentially that means that they're in another plane and someone has captured them or something happened. We're just gonna learn more in Doctor Strange 2. So I'm very excited for that. Let me know what you think about the series down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, make sure to give this video a like, and also hit the subscribe button for more content. Follow me on my social medias. They'll be linked right below. And as always, have a blessed day. Bye!